Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is, what is it? I don't even know. Tuesday. It is Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. And as you can see, everything is topsy-turvy. And we'll talk about that later. Let's get into the news. And our first story is about Representatives Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows, and it's from Fox. It was published this morning. Reps Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows, Build the Wall, Do What We Said We'd Do, by Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows for Fox News. We are not going to play the clip because it's not Jim Jordan or Mark Meadows talking about the article, so let's just keep going. Trump to meet with Dem leaders amid wall funding battle. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see. We make the job of serving in Congress way too complicated. It's pretty basic. What do we tell the voters we were going to do, and when they elected us to represent them, that's what we should do. Shocker. Shocker. These two representatives know how Congress is supposed to work. It's amazing to me. Voters elected President Trump to shake up Washington in his first 2 years, and the president has kept his promises. Now it is Congress's turn. We have 3 weeks to help him deliver on his biggest promise, securing the border and building the wall. The situation at the southern border is critical. The recent caravan was not only the first of many, they're coming because they have a reason. A series of loopholes in our immigration laws have led to a policy called catch and release. When illegal aliens are caught at the border, these loopholes often allow them to enter our nation to wait for an immigration hearing. Sometimes these hearings are years in the future. All too frequently, they don't even show up. One example. The law is supposed to allow families with children to be detained together if they're caught crossing the border illegally. But because of a 1990s court ruling, the Department of Homeland Security, which wasn't even created in the 90s, has to release them. From 2016 to early 2018, more than 250,000 illegal aliens detained at the border were released into the United States. This encourages more people to cross the border illegally. These loopholes and other discussions of amnesty have led to surging apprehensions at the border, with over 50,000 apprehensions in March of 2018. Another example, migrants who show up at the border and claim, quote, credible fear of persecution, close quote, like the Frijoles lady, they are also released. The number of people claiming credible fear has increased from 5,000 in 2009 to 94,000 in 2016. The system is overwhelmed and it's getting worse. Well, I would say that's a true statement. Democrats do not want to bring attention to their extremist positions on immigration. They are for open borders and abolishing immigration, customs, and enforcement. We're going to leave it there. Links in the show notes, which are on the opposite side of the screen today. And from Zerohedge, I just love this. I just love this title. Eventually, it had to happen. France investigates Russia over yellow vest riots. Thank you, Tyler Durden. Good morning. This was published yesterday. and authored by Mike Shedlock via Mishtalk. France is investigating Russia over the Yellow Vest riots. Sorry, Macron, please look in the mirror. When all else fails, blame Russia. It would be hilarious if it was not so sad. A car burns during a demonstration of the Yellow Vest, Gilets Jaunes in Paris on December 8th. Photographer is Zakaria Abel Kafi for AFP via Getty Images. Please consider France to probe possible Russian influence on Yellow Vest riots. France opened a probe into possible Russian interference behind the country's Yellow Vest protests after reports that social media accounts linked to Moscow have increasingly targeted the movement. According to the Alliance for Securing Democracy, about 600 Twitter accounts known to promote Kremlin views have begun focusing on France, boosting their use of the hashtag Gilets Jaunes and the French name for Yellow Vest movement. French security services are looking at the situation. Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, I think, because I don't want to say Le Drian or Drian, I don't know, it said Sunday in a radio interview with Russia Today. Quote, an investigation is now underway, this guy said. I will not make comments before the investigation has brought conclusions. Links in the show notes, folks. This is just perfect. It's perfect. Let's see. France Yellow Vest protests should be a lesson for green activists in the U.S. from Fox News by Daniel Turner. And we're not going to play the footage, but we are going to move along. Protests continue in France over rising fuel taxes. Over 700 arrests have been made in France amid violent protests due to rising fuel taxes, Greg Palcott reports. A city on fire, cars burned to ashes, a national monument defaced, that would be the Arc de Triomphe, 10,000 tear gas canisters, and stun grenades used against protesters. In 1 week, Paris transformed from the City of Lights to a total battle zone. It's important to understand how we got here. A major European power was brought to its knees by a mass protest, a near revolt by its people. Even for France, these events don't happen often. It takes major problems to cause this level of upheaval, and we should seek to understand why people would risk their lives and take to the streets. Well, the rest of the article will be in the show notes. We already saw from eyewitness testimony yesterday in our report for December 10th why they would do that. So, let's talk about the mess on the desk, because it's a mess. So here's what happened. Because of the sound problems that we're having, I decided that it would be wise to try and contact the company that makes my software for my produced broadcasts. And I contacted them and I explained the problem, that I was having sound problems. And when I tried to download a fresh copy, let's back up. I explained to them that I had sound problems. And they sent me back an email that said, here's a laundry list of instructions, like 10 bullet points or something that you had to do and make sure of and all that stuff. And then they said, to further help you, please send proof of purchase, so some sort of receipt, and some other document. I can't remember what it was. Well, I went to look for that stuff, and in my bank statement, all it said was the distribution company's name. It did not say the manufacturer's name of the software. It said the distribution company's name who handles the payments and how much I paid for it, which was $80, by the way. So I poked around, couldn't find any other documents anywhere. No confirmation letter, none of that stuff which they were looking for. And normally those documents are in an archive. Fine. So I wrote them back and I said, you know what? Just had to make sure we were still recording. I said, you know what? I don't have those documents, but I did go on the company, the manufacturer's website, and they have this nice area where you can manage all your software. So I wrote them back and said, look, I went into all the places where these things should happen, and I can't find the document. So I tried a fresh install, and because I tried a fresh install, I cannot get to the product key anymore, which is where I'm stopped on a fresh install. They want the product key. Well, the product key is in the old install, which I opted to overwrite, which leaves us here with no production software, or the horrific alternative yesterday of the hideous watermark on a trial version. And I decided that was not the way I wanted to go again today. It's just not acceptable for a trial version. So here we are. I'm doing a one-take screen cap, which means I can't fix my own mistakes and edit out my coughing when my throat goes dry and all that good stuff. Emails have been sent to tell the company who's got now 2 tickets open, that service tickets, that they never registered on their website that I had bought their product. So there's no way I can get my product key from their website, which you can theoretically. So here we are without my paid software and without being able to produce videos. Yesterday I did a trial run with the streaming capability of my screen capture. Allegedly you can stream, but the problem is all of these streaming programs default to web camera. They expect you to have your mug on the screen. And so if you choose not to put your mug on the screen, it won't pick up the screen capture. So we get what we got all the times I've tried to live stream. We get a black screen. Sometimes we get audio and sometimes we don't. But this time, trial run, we got audio. And shout out to Neon Butterfly, who actually caught it, and then the phone rang, and I had to stop abruptly. So that's what it's been like since Saturday, trying to fix this problem. And that's why everything is jumbled up. I moved everything on the desk over to try and use OBS. That didn't work. So at this point, I don't know what to tell you. These one-take screen captures, I don't like them at all, which is also probably why even if I could live stream, I don't think I would like it very much. I like the nice product that I've learned to produce, up to this point without using a bunch of special effects other than fades and crossfades and that kind of thing. I like that. I'm satisfied with it, and I'm getting very grumpy with this company who's got my $80 and I can't use their software. And the sound issues have not been resolved either. So, I'm at a crossroad, really. Do I stop producing until I can fix these problems? Or do I produce a one take and just let the chips fall where they may? I don't know. And so I guess this is fair warning. If either I have the opportunity to get the tooth pulled, or I decide that I'm not satisfied with this production the way it is, maybe we take a break until the new year and just go with it that way. I don't know. I think that taking a break until the new year is not a good idea because we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary, and I had some plans to change a few things up, and I'm also waiting on Mumblet to get their video components up and running, because if I'm going to live stream anywhere, it seems that I should give them a huge break and live stream from Mumblet, and then either share out through Restream or just put a produced video, an edited produced video on YouTube and BitChute. So, when it rains, it pours. And that's it. That's all we have for you today. We could have done more news, but I think this is sufficient because what's going on with Halieus Media kind of takes precedent right now since everything looks weird. So for me and the Shepherd, we hope you're blessed. We hope that if you had snow events in the south, that you're safe, and that you, if you need help, you reach out to friends and family and community support organizations to get yourself back on track as quickly and efficiently as possible. So until we see you again, have a great day.